By the way, if you haven't heard, I wanted to let you know about Anchor. Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast. First, it's free. Secondly, there are tools to record and edit your podcast directly from either your phone or your computer. And the best part, to me, in my opinion, is that Anchor will do the distribution of your podcast to a variety of places like Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more for you. All that hard work is done for you by Anchor. So that's one less thing, major thing, in my opinion, to worry about. You can actually make money from your podcast with no minimum amount of listeners required. It's just everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. If you're interested, you can download the free app, or you can go to anchor.fm to get started. And that's Anchor, ANCHOR.fm to get started. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is your Neat Parent host, Zakaria. Ahlan wa sahlan. Welcome back to another episode of the Neat Parent podcast. Do you know that there are precursors to Wudu, just like there are precursors to reading? Let's take a look at the ABCs of Wudu. We all know it, but we actually may even sing it, like to sing it. Some of us maybe not so much, but we all know this song, the head, shoulders, knees, and toes song. It's actually a great song that will familiarize your kids with the body parts and those body parts that are actually involved with Wudu. Teaching your child or children Wudu correctly starts with knowing the parts of the body. You can also teach them a Wudu song as well. I think those are totally helpful if you know of any, or if you make up some. I've made up a few songs with tunes to popular songs, but just made up my own, inserted my own words and made up songs to make and help teach my children Wudu correctly. But the song is basically ineffective if they don't even know their body parts. So definitely make sure that your child knows their body parts, inshallah. But if you're not sure if they know it, the head, shoulders, knees, and toes song is actually, once again, a great song. Much to your dismay, you may have to sing that or have them sing it for just a little bit longer, inshallah, until they familiarize themselves with the parts of their own body. Next, obviously, goes without saying, teaching, or maybe not, teaching your child how to correctly wash their hands is definitely another precursor to learning how to perform Wudu correctly. Washing your hands, whichever way you want to teach them, through just actual demonstration, how to teach them how to wash their hands correctly and in between the fingers, by demonstrating it, by having a song to assist you, or having videos. Obviously, the best thing is for them to just learn live with you. Inshallah, that'll be the best. But washing your hands correctly and in between the fingers are definitely essential building blocks for making correct wudu. And if you're not able to successfully teach them how to wash their hands on your own, I'm sure you'll find tons of videos that could assist you and actually motivate you or your child to wash their hands correctly. Definitely washing your hands correctly. If you teach that to your child, inshallah, you'll get the hasanah for teaching them how to wash their hands correctly, because it is obviously great hygiene. It's teaching them great hygiene, but it also be a precursor to teaching them how to perform wudu correctly, inshallah. Also, if you use mouthwash is a great precursor to performing wudu. Just the act of swishing fluid in your mouth that you don't swallow is an essential skill for wudu. Mouthwash, even the alcohol-free mouthwash, kid mouthwashes, are items or liquids that you don't want to swallow and that your kid most likely doesn't want to swallow as well. So definitely using mouthwash is something that you want to instill or at least utilize or view as a precursor to making wudu, because it'll be something that they're used to not swallowing. And then when it does come time for making wudu correctly, they will remember what it's like to not swallow, even though it's the water, and water is obviously permissible, but we're not swallowing water. We're swishing it around and we're spitting it out, just like mouthwash. So that's definitely a precursor to making wudu, and inshallah, that'll be an essential skill that your child learns from you, and as well, dually beneficial because it also gets them used to just proper hygiene, proper oral hygiene. So we have another beneficial precursor to making wudu correctly, or teaching wudu, how to perform wudu correctly, to our wonderful amanah. So blowing your nose. Blowing your nose is by far, in my opinion, the hardest thing to teach kids. I absolutely think that that's the hardest thing to do. I still can't remember how each child learned how to blow their nose, and I definitely don't take any credit for it. But I do have a tip. Not only is teaching your child how to blow their nose correctly great for the precursors, or just great for instilling that habit and that skill for them to be able to blow water out of their nose when they're making wudu, it is also perfect for when they have their own colds, or when they have their just could be allergies or a cold. When they have that mucus in their nose that you no longer have to siphon out of their noses for them, they will be able to be independent and take care of that themselves, inshallah. We've all been there, and we definitely probably will continue to revisit that phase with subsequent children. However, it is not something that we, I know I could speak for myself, but most folks don't want to linger in that phase of just blowing the nose or siphoning out the mucus for them, for their kids. So definitely, inshallah, the day when your kid can independently blow their nose is, I would probably say, another dual blessing, inshallah, because it will be something that is a beneficial skill for performing wudu correctly, being able to put something into your nose or the water, or have something blown out of your nose, which is the water that you're blowing out of your nose 3 times during wudu, inshallah. But definitely it'll also help, inshallah, when they have allergies or a cold and their noses are stuffed or runny and they just need to remove that mucus, and they can do that independently on their own, inshallah. So blowing your nose is a hard thing to do, and one tip that I have would be to, or one trick or neat tip, is to have a cotton ball handy. Take that cotton ball, or if you have a pom-pom, equally so, it might actually be fun for them to be like, think of it as a game, or to be happy to see something colorful being blown by their own noses. But a cotton ball or pom-pom, whatever the size is, take that, and you could either have them place their nose just at the table level and then have them try to blow, but just as long as their mouths are blocked, probably by pressing their mouth against the table or making sure it's underneath the table, and blowing the cotton ball or pom-pom across the table with their nose. Or you could take like a book, or probably a book or a clipboard, and just place it literally above their mouth, just so that even if they do try to blow with their mouths, it doesn't blow the pom-pom. So you're creating that barrier, or the cotton ball. So you're creating that barrier, and it really enforces or kind of directs them and guides them to really focus on blowing through their nose. And believe it or not, it actually becomes fun after a while for them. But that's been by far like the easiest way to me to be able to teach them. I can't remember some of the other tricks, but that was one trick and tip that I would love to share with the community, our ummah, and also, inshallah, you may be able to share it as well with others who are going through that phase. But inshallah, that is a great precursor to performing your wudu correctly. And inshallah, it'll actually be a not so painstaking process. And inshallah, it will be something that is fun and beneficial, and that your children will learn how to perform wudu correctly, as well as you receiving the hasana for teaching your kids to perform wudu correctly. And inshallah, they will be making wudu for the rest of their lives. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala provide you with the hasana for teaching your kids how to perform wudu correctly, inshallah. Until the next episode, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.